promotion called the Magic Calendar, and I actually talked to the editor and found out one of the strategies for investing in biotech stocks was to find out the dates of, it's called the PDUFA date. It's part of the, PDUFA is a weird thing, but it involves the Prescription Drug Act, and then in order for to get accelerated approval from the FDA, the company has to tell the FDA in advance the date that the FDA has to tell the company, as part of the offering lower price drugs to seniors, the specific date when the FDA is going to make a decision. And you can find these dates out there, though a lot of people don't know where to look for them. So if you can find those dates, you can guess then, or have a reasonable prediction when the stock's going to go up. Because a lot of times the stock starts going up above those dates because a lot of people on the inside know it and people on the outside world don't even have a clue. So if you know the dates, you can make a lot of money by getting in right when the date's announced and riding all the way up. And then even if the date of the approval happens, you could sell that day and make a lot of money. So even if the stock gets approved or doesn't get approved, the drug gets approved or doesn't get approved, you still can make a lot of money. I got that from the editor. I had no clue. I never heard of PDUFA dates before. I never heard of that strategy before. I only knew because I asked the editor, like, how do you invest in biotech stocks? And that was like one thing he told me out of like 20 things. And I took that idea of investing around PDUFA dates and I created the idea of, or I connected the things together, the magic calendar, that we would give you a calendar then of all these dates. If you knew the dates, you could make the money. Okay? Ryan's rule number 2, you must interview the publisher. Okay, about the product. You want to talk to the editor and the publisher. And this is beyond even pitching, I guess. Like, you want to be pitching all the time too, but this is like you sit down and say, I need an hour of your time. And one thing you might do for both the editor and the publisher is record your interview and then get the transcripts. So that webinar I wrote for James Altucher about cryptocurrencies has done about $13 million. He was reading the copy on camera. It's a video webinar. And he's like, wow, Ryan, like, how are you anticipating, because he didn't read the script, of course, before he showed up, right? So he's like, how are you writing this copy knowing the exact same words like I was going to use? And that was because, I said, James, it's because it's your words. All I did is I just recorded a bunch of interviews with you, got the transcripts, and pulled whole chunks of those transcripts and put them in the copy. So, of course, it sounds just like him, and I knew what he was going to say, because he did say it. Which is funny then when he argued with me in some parts of it, it's like, I would never say that. And I'm like, well, right here, it's... So you need to interview the editor and the publisher. You need to do research beyond Google. Google's the lazy man's way to write copy. You should do Google because it's easy, but you need to go beyond that. I'll give you an example of going the extra mile. Oxford Club put out a promotion last year that did pretty well. I think it did like $4 or $5 million. I can't remember the name of the promotion, $4 or $5 million. But kind of the main piece of proof they had though was from an old book that they had found, the copywriter had found on Amazon and bought for like $300. An old book. I don't know how we heard of it. It's some sort of technical analysis was explained in the book. So he paid $300 for a book, which seems ridiculous on Amazon, but that promo generated $5 million. So get the book. If you need the book, we can always expense it. You know, because if you don't just buy, if you buy that kind of book, you really got to have to use it if you can. But if it's a great idea, then $300 is nothing in the scheme of things for a book. Okay, you need to get on an airplane and fly across the country to finish your promotion. That's an option. Now you might have to like persuade people why you need to do that and get people to sign off on it, but you have any legal means you can. Another idea for as far as researching the product is to organize your own research project. And what I did for the impact system is you hear the stuff about like how like Jim Rickards organized this research project and he had like a whole team of researchers doing all this back testing and it took all these hours of time to validate all the results. That was me. I was the researcher. I put myself in the copy because, and I actually did that. I it took me a whole month of research to backtest. I personally backtested the majority of those examples in there. But I did it, and I kind of looked at it in the beginning like I'm going to launch my own, because it's like, like Jim tried to help, and Pete was kind of helping too, but like it's stream ownership. If you need the research, you create the research. There's always the option you can send out surveys to customers to generate testimonials. You can always go to the publisher and say, I want to know how many people actually use this investment that was recommended in the newsletter, and can we ask our customers to email us back and give us stories of how they used this particular idea. And that's like, you see a lot of the social proof sometimes in promotion, like on the lead, a lot of it is, and it's like, where do those testimonials come from? Some of those are unsolicited testimonials, meaning people just send them in, and the publisher should be able to help you get those if you need that social proof. But if you need more social proof, then ask for it. Send them a free report, have the editor take your idea and send it out as a free special report to our existing customers, and then tell the customers that, we're giving this to you for free, please reply back with your thoughts on it. Generally, the things you want to find inside the product, and I count the editor and publisher as part of the product, would be stories, systems, put that in quotes, systems meaning just strategies, secrets, put that in quotes, because a lot of times that an editor or an expert doesn't really even recognize what a secret is. Mechanisms, which we'll talk about in a minute. Backtesting, features and benefits, historical examples and analogies, things that happened in the past that relate to the current investment strategy or investment. Metaphors, if they can explain things in a way that makes sense. Social proof, testimonials. Those are the things you need to be getting out of your interviews with the editor and publisher. Okay? Now, one word we kind of throw around a lot is the idea of a mechanism. And that might be confusing a lot of people, but basically your mechanism is just the thing in your product or in your promotion that gets the desired result they want, or that you're promising. You can even work at a gloom and doom prediction as well. Like end of America, it was all about this terrible thing coming to America. Like the mechanism was the U.S. dollar losing its reserve status, which at the time was pretty unique. No one actually talked. That was a story no one had ever talked about the end of America's financial dominance. So that was the mechanism. So it could be a negative mechanism too. It can be whatever's the thing that makes whatever you're promising happen. Okay? Like in the magic calendar was the mechanism. So just use this calendar, you get this. So this is actually in your notes, but there's 5 things about unique mechanisms. 3 of them are like how to find them. Number 1, you really have a secret formula that no one else has. That's actually pretty rare. A lot of what we're selling could be perceived as ordinary ideas. At least that's the frame that people might perceive them. So they might really have a secret formula or some sort of secret. Number 2 would be you have an unspoken mechanism that no one else has talked about. That would be from the Claude Hopkins book about Schlitz beer and how he created the mechanism of how it was like, how they cleaned their vats and all that stuff and had the best beer, which all beer companies did. He was the first one to identify that as like the key thing that made Schlitz better, which is kind of funny because it's a common thing that those might exist in our industry. A little bit harder because we've been around so long and there's not a lot of secrets left, but if you could find those. And the third thing is you basically just create one from whatever you've got, okay? So usually you take an ordinary part or feature, formula, strategy, investment, and you give it a unique name. So you pull out one part of that editor's FDA trading, biotech trading strategy, which it was just one thing he was talking about, was investing around the PDUFA dates, and you make that the mechanism. There are lots of other things he did as part of that. He did fundamental analysis, he did some technical analysis. So what actually showed up in the newsletter as far as recommendations was actually a pretty complicated process. But I didn't want to get into that sales copy. I just wanted to say, use the magic calendar, okay? Real simple mechanism. So when naming a magic mechanism or unique mechanism, you could try using a metaphor. The more tangible and concrete, the better. So a blueprint or a calendar is probably better than a trade or a system as far as naming it or using it for a metaphor. I mean, a system's pretty abstract. Trade is pretty abstract. Like, everyone knows what a blueprint looks like. It's a piece of paper or a calendar. So concrete's usually better. That's right out of the Made Stick book. And almost always unique mechanism is the thing that will get the customer the transformation they desire, or whatever you promised. One last thing I want to talk about as far as ideas, it's pretty important, is that how to ethically steal ideas. Okay? Like, plagiarism's very bad. Don't blatantly steal. If you're cutting and pasting anything, that's a big danger sign. Don't cut and paste. Key to think about, like, how you use somebody else's idea for a new idea is emulate, don't imitate. Emulate, don't imitate. Okay? So try to write your version of that idea with your own unique twist on it. Just don't, you can't just take the impact system and call it the smash system and have the exact same idea behind it. People do it, it's just not going to work as well. When you make a copy of a copy, it's funny, you can even see in the results that the first copy will do half as well, the next one after that, next knockoff will do half